final third in good areas. So for them, it'll be about being calm in those dangerous situations, picking the right option and putting it away.
I just wonder if we've talked a lot about how muscular Western United are going to be, and they were in this preliminary final, qualifying final. You look at the football match, and Sydney dominated. Why couldn't they finish those chances? And maybe it was they were ruffled. When they got to the finishing line, maybe all the pressure physically from Western United actually got under the Sydney players' skin. Let's see if that transfers to today.
So, who is it for you today, Hearts, with that being said?
Yeah, I think Sydney's quality should get them across the line, but it's hard to go against these guys. It's been a great story.
And Teresa, do you think it's going to be fourth time of asking?
Look, I don't ever want to write Western United off again, but I can't go past Sydney FC, the amount of chances they create.
Well, what an afternoon we have ahead of us here. It is the 2023 Grand Final between the new kids in town, the debutantes, Western United, v the newly crowned premiers, Sydney FC. Don't go anywhere. Kick off on the other side.
across, swings it into Keane! Western United have scored, and it's the golden boot, Hannah Keane! And the whistle goes! Western United are going to the Liberty A-League Grand Final! Here's Hunter, Dumont spills it, Haley, it's in! And in the 89th minute, Madison Haley was on the spot as Sydney FC punched their ticket to the Grand Final.
The 15th Liberty A-League Grand Final, the pinnacle, the crowning moment of the biggest, longest season in the competition's history. Match number 103 that fittingly pits the best two teams in the country against each other for the ultimate prize in professional football in Australia. It's Western United versus Sydney FC at CommBank Stadium on the land of the Darug people. And I'm pleased to say, after a torrid weekend of weather in Sydney, it is a perfect day for the biggest match of the year. Early 20s, sunshine, and a pitch, a stage set for the battle of the best. Just 1 point separated first and second at the end of the 2022-23 season. But apart from that, that's where the similarities really end between these two sides. As two club legends bring out the trophy. Jess McDonald, a club legend of 8 games for Western United, and Teresa Polias for Sydney FC. 7 of the players in action this afternoon were named in the PFA Team of the Year. The quality is going to be on show. Western United in their debut season, well, they know how to dream big in Melbourne's West. The men did it last year. The women in their first ever season looking to go all the way. But the fairy tales, well, Sydney FC are hoping for one of their own, led by their captain Nat Tobin, who debuted as a 16-year-old in a grand final victory. Well, today she leads her side out for her 100th A-League appearance, and hoping for more fairy tales in her career. That's what they're playing for. The Liberty A-League trophy, a first for Western United perhaps. It could be a 4th record equaling for Sydney FC. Let's head down to Welcome to Country.
I would like to begin by paying my respects to elders past and present, and acknowledge that we are gathering here on the beautiful unceded lands of the Barramadigal people of the Darug Nations. Warami, Welabalami, Garambarak, Budjuri Nami, Baramara Nurawa, Diai Giara Juli, Ingayingara Daragudien, Nai Nurawa, Wayangara, Biangara, Jinamagang, Yugumang, Daragiora Yenmala, Buria, Yudangara Gunyalungalung, Didjurigo, Yanajanawi, Bubawulingami. Welcome, wherever you've come from, to be here with us today. My name is Julie. I'm a very proud salt freshwater Darug woman, and this is our country, the country of our mothers, fathers, ancestors, who have been here since the creation of the very first sunrise. Our people have sung, danced and walked this land since the creation of time, and we're very humbled to be able to be here with you today and welcome you to these beautiful unceded lands of the people of the Eel Waters. On behalf of the Barramadigal and the wider Darug community, a very warm welcome to country. Thank you.
If you are able, would you please be upstanding for the National Anthem of Australia to be performed by Monica Oriel.
Free, we've got
The handshaking between these two sides. What a season it was, with Western United bursting out of the blocks before being just run down in the final weeks of the season by a relentless, steamrolling Sydney FC, only to bounce back again in that first semi-final. There's coach Mark Torcaso. What an achievement for him. And a man who has won every single cup final he's coached in, 5 in a row with Calder United in the NPL, up against Ante Juric, who equals Jeff Hopkins' record for coaching in 6 A-League Grand Finals. A little extra to that record, all 6 in a row. Casey Rybelt will take charge of this afternoon's Liberty A-League Grand Final. Casey Rybelt's 93rd match. In the middle for the A-League, she equals the record in the Liberty A-League's competition. 93 matches refereed, along with Kate Jakovic. Big moment for the referee, as well as the two captains and the supporters of these two clubs, as we have a look at Western United. Coach Mark Torcaso, 2 changes from the semi-final win over Sydney FC, 1 enforced. Left back Angie Beard, excellent in that first semi, has had foot surgery, so the more attack-minded Danielle Steer comes in for her. She'll play up front in that 4-3-3, while TJ Vlanic will step back to left back. The other change is Canadian-born Philippines international Jacqueline Savicki, who replaces Melissa Taranto in midfield. Up front, Hannah Keane, the Golden Boot, will be looking to fire more goals into the back of the net. There is TJ Vlanic there, 32 years of age. She's won 2 grand finals with Melbourne City. The Serbian international is tasked this afternoon with trying to keep tabs on Courtney Vine. What a battle that will be. Well, for Sydney FC, Ante Juric said this is the best team he has ever coached, as they look to end a run of 3 consecutive grand final defeats. No changes from the team that overcame Melbourne Victory last weekend. 5 of this side named in the PFA's Team of the Year, starting with captain Natalie Tobin, who makes her 100th appearance in the A-League. In midfield, Sarah Hunter, Rachel Lowe and Mackenzie Hawkesby will be looking to provide the ammunition for Princess Sabini. Top scorer Madison Haley, and Matilda Courtney Vine, fully recovered from that calf injury. And there is Princess Urbini, who joins Avi Lewick with 7 grand final appearances this afternoon. We are all set for the start, the countdown around CommBank Stadium. It all comes down to this. New meets old. Western United looking to put the finishing touches and a happy ending on their fairy tale season. Their first ever in the Liberty A-League against the juggernaut that is Sydney FC. Their 6th grand final in a row, their 10th in 15 in the competition's history, and looking for a record equaling 4th grand final triumph. Grace Gill, a 2-time grand final winner yourself, you know what it takes. This one pits 2 opposing tactics, 2 teams that were clearly the best in the land this year. What a 90 minutes, perhaps 120 awaits.
Well, thank you and good afternoon, Robbie, and what a beautiful afternoon it is for the Liberty A-League Grand Final, 15th season of the competition, and a fitting final at that. Arguably the 2 best teams in the competition and meeting this afternoon on the biggest stage, and it has started exactly as we'd expected it to.
Physical, very physical. There is Ante Juric. He's only just got Courtney Vine back to full fitness after that calf strain. She was met very strongly there by Sydney Cummings. one of the three Americans in this Western United side, as Hawkesby hits it. I thought for a moment it was looping towards that top corner. Is it Mackenzie Hawkesby that holds the key in that all-action box-to-box midfield role this afternoon?
It was an early look for Hawkesby, who no doubt this afternoon will be as active as she always is. A player who just gets better and better as the games wear on.
Rovers with Taranto in the middle of the park. Sarah Hunter will be looking to answer a few questions as well after the semi-final 2 weeks ago, in which the Taranto twins were so effective in the middle of the park. Now Courtney Vine against Blanich. Vine's got the pace, but Blanich has the discipline, sticks to the task. First corner of the match for the Sky Blues.
Blanich has done well there, and she had a lot of work to do. It won't be the last time we see Courtney Vine tear down that right flank for Sydney FC, and Blanich, if that's anything to go by, is going to have a big afternoon on her hands.
And she's still feeling that collarbone throat where she was hit by Sydney Cummings. Mackenzie Hawkesby. Short little training ground move for Princess Abini at the near post. Her turn was well read by Adriana Taranto. Papadopoulos, in fact, marking that near post. Hawkesby again, this time longer. Beale comes, doesn't get there! Madison Haley! Just 3 minutes on the clock. And Sydney FC have that early goal that has proved so elusive in recent weeks. A dream start for Sydney FC. Hawkesby the delivery, Haley the finish.
Well, it didn't take them long. On the Harvey Norman replay, a well swung in corner from Mackenzie Hawkesby. And all year those deliveries, that was a peach of a ball, and Madison Haley rises above the rest in what is a thumping header, and Sydney FC, they're off the mark.
Well, last week she scored the goal that qualified them for the grand final. Madison Haley, it was her first 90 minutes since returning from that hip injury. Goals in a debut season. It's been a fantastic return for the American number 9. And now we're going to have to see Western United come from behind. They generally like to lead from the front. They like to have something to defend, because Sydney should enjoy most of the possession. There's never a game plan to start with conceding an early goal, but this one is a real spanner in the works for Western United.
Certainly not the start that Western United would have been looking for, and for Sydney, well, they've not lost a game when they've scored first. Across 15 fixtures, 14 of those have been wins when they've gone up first, and just one draw, but no losses. Western United, they do really well when conceding first, so this is not all done and dusted for them. There's a lot of football to be played.
We talk about experience, of course. It's not the first time that many of these Western United players have played in cup finals, but at this level, at the APL, it's the next step up. There is Western United when conceding first, and as Grace just told us, of the previous 9, 4 wins. But when they fell behind against Sydney FC earlier this season, it ended 3-0 as Vine looks to get on the end of that crossfield ball. Hilary Beale, who was named PFA's goalkeeper of the year, has been beaten early by her compatriot, but she claimed that one. Rachel Lowe back in midfield with the early release for Courtney Vine. Early ball in towards Madison Haley again, and it's Blanich who gets it clear.
was a good early delivery in from Courtney Vine. Really intelligent run as well from Madison Haley. She'll continue to do that all afternoon, just skirting off the shoulder of her defender. Really bright player is Madison Haley.
Goals on a debut season. We've got Hannah Keane, a fantastic finisher up the other end as well, if she gets half a chance. It's Western United who have scored more headers than any other side this season, but it's Sydney beating them at their own game early in this one. Charlie Rule started every match for Sydney this season, looking for Hawkesby. Here's Keane. Closed down by Charlotte McLean. Herself back from nearly a month out after a facial fracture. Gets ahead on that one. Straight to Robers, who has a grand final story of her own that she's looking for redemption for. That's well played by Steer. Papadopoulos. The cross in, Steer's in the middle. Rovers can't find her.
A little more promising there from Western United. Just starting to gain a bit of territory back in their attacking third, attacking half.
That's a nice turn by Taranto on the left foot. Just trying to float it into that top corner. And that Jada Wyman racing across to cover that top right-hand corner.
It was a lovely little drop of the shoulder there from Adriana Taranto. Great turn of speed. She's had a strong season throughout this year with Western United. Taranto, really important cog in the midfield. You'd have to say perhaps a little surprising to see her twin Mel Taranto on the bench today, who's also been a mainstay in their midfield.
It's Jacqueline Savicki, who gets the captain's armband as well for Western United, sitting just in front of the defence. Haley, use of the body, getting away from Cern. Hawkesby can't quite get there. Papadopoulos clears long. Tobin, well, she's been beaten to it by Keane. And Tobin recovers well, is helped out by Fenton. See Keane asking for it immediately again. Western United looking for that more direct style. Cummings. She does, but Johnson, the former Sydney FC player in the Western United ranks, was not making that run.
Asking perhaps a little too much there of Carly Johnson, who this afternoon starting on the left for Western United. He's also had a really fruitful season with the team since moving across from Sydney FC, the young Matilda.
Provided the assist in the semi-final 2 weeks ago for Hannah Keane. There's Rachel Lowe. He's trying to steal the ball away in the middle of the park there. Oh, Beale's clearance is not the best. She finds Taranto. What a battle that promises to be, and Hunter was holding on, hoping Hawkesby would arrive. In the end, the foul, I think, goes against Hunter for the initial foul.
Just the arms wrapped around the body there from Hunter on Adriana Taranto. And it will be that midfield battle this afternoon we spoke about in pre-game. Just how much possession is won and lost in the centre of the park, I think could really dictate so much of what happens this afternoon.
Free kick for Cummings. Keane is right in the middle of the D. It's just overhead all the way through to Jada Wyman. 8 clean sheets for Jada Wyman this season, 2 for Katie Offa, the backup goalkeeper. Vine's touch, but she's being very closely marked by Vlanic. Princess Abini closing down Papadopoulos, almost winning it back for Sydney FC. Vlanic again towards Keane. It's perfectly weighted, and Hannah Keane just showing she doesn't need much of a sighting on goal. That had something behind it.
Hannah Keane, how many times this year has she just created something out of nothing? That first touch just allowed her a little glance up to see where Jada Wyman was, and that didn't miss by much.
14 goals already this season. Hannah Keane, 3 of them against Sydney FC, 2 in the regular season, a 2-0 victory in January, followed up by the only goal of that semi-final. Another one, she joins Michelle Heyman in second place on the all-time scorers in a single season list as Vlainic headers away straight back into the middle. Hawkesby can't get there. McLean, her header intercepted, but McLean follows up quickly. Hawkesby's there as well. Sydney FC have it back. Rachel Lowe's touch back. McLean was looking for Vine. The clearance. Johnson, that's strong. From the Sydney number 3. Vine. Little 1-2, looking for it with Madison Haley. That's a good challenge. All ball. Alana Cern is down, writhing in agony as Sydney FC look to play on. Rule. The touch for Vine. Looking square. Savicki. And then Vlainic clearing. And now the referee, Casey Rybelt, calls a halt to proceedings. Western United are not happy.
Well, this is a concern. Alana Cern, the tackle from Madison Haley was well timed. She did get the ball, but Cern has landed really heavily on that shoulder and come down hard on her right-hand side, and it took some time for her to get that medical attention. You can see Mark Tocaso not happy with the time it did take. Alana Cern has been key in Western United's defence this year.
Well, she fell heavily. Medical staff getting her back to her feet. There was nothing untoward about that challenge. And this challenge, well, it was pretty good from Madison Haley.
It was a great finish from Haley, the leading goal scorer for Sydney FC this year.
There you can see the goal count. Let's head down to Niamh Owens, who's on the sidelines for us this afternoon. Niamh.
Robbie, Alana Cern just getting back to her feet there. She's holding her right elbow. You could see that she took a heavy impact there on the right shoulder. But to be fair, Madison Haley got all ball, and she has had a remarkable start to this game. She scored that crucial goal for Sydney FC last week. She said to me in the post-game that her sister was flying in this week. She was absolutely determined that her sister would have a game of football to go to today, and she has started with some serious fire. Her and Courtney Vine looking dangerous. Western United looking to double mark Courtney Vine at every opportunity, but Sydney FC certainly bringing the heat early in this one.
Great that the family has been able to make it out for Madison Haley. Dad, by all accounts, was too busy to make it out, the 5-time Super Bowl winner. But sister has come out to fly the family flag. Brilliant stuff from Madison Haley up front, because that's another battle. We talk about the battles all over the park, the battles of the American strikers in these two sides as well. There's another one, the most famous of all, watching from the sidelines in green and black, in the World Cup winner Jess McDonald, who surprised the Western United squad by dropping in yesterday to see the squad. Low can't take the ball with her. Back pass to Hilary Beale. Great header from Charlie Rule. Oh, that's a lovely turn from Rachel Lowe. Now with Hawkesby. Princess Abini peeling off to the left, but Hawkesby's pass, just the radar a little off.
Not quite the switch Mackenzie Hawkesby would have been looking for. Rachel Lowe, you mentioned it, Robbie, delightful turn to get out of pressure and danger. Such quality all across the park in this Sydney FC team.
And here they come again, Hunter. with Haley. Hawkesby now with Lowe. Ball wide for Vine. They love to try and isolate Courtney Vine one-on-one. Lowe in again. She can hit them from distance. She scored twice against Western United this season as well in that 3-0 victory. Rules touch. Corner, says the referee. The challenge by Carly Johnson.
Solid challenge, good shoulder to shoulder. Sydney FC just starting to probe in that final third, ask a few questions of Western United's defensive shape.
Hawkesby, ball again, back post, and again the header, it's in, and it's Nat Tobin, the Sydney captain, in her 100th match. The player that almost left at the start of last season called up the coach and said, please, can I play again? Ante Juric said, yep, and you can be my captain. And here she is on the score sheet in the grand final.
There's no one more deserving on the Harvey Norman replay. Nat Tobin, the captain, the leader of this side, left unmarked on that second ball. And Western United are struggling defensively with these corners. It was the same delivery from Hawkesby, the same area in the 6-yard box. And Nat Tobin has done well to rise above the rest as that ball dropped down. And what an occasion on her 100th appearance for Sydney FC.
Well, the team that scored the most headed goals in the competition is Western United, but they're being shown how to do it. Nat Tobin. Debuted in a grand final in 2013, replaced Chloe Lagazo for the final minutes as Sydney lifted the trophy. And now, 7 grand finals later, and what a start this has been for Sydney FC.
Two goals from 2 corners. And after a season when they'd only scored 4 across the regular campaign, Ante Juric will be very happy with that return as TJ Vlanich has gone down in another heavy hit. Continues to be a powerful and aggressive encounter between these two sides.
They'd scored just 1 header all season before today. Now 20 minutes in, and they lead 2-0 from 2 set pieces. They talked about whether there'd be nerves on the biggest stage. And the best goalkeeper in the land, voted for by her peers, Hilary Beale. She's come for 2 corners and hasn't got to either of them. And now Abini taking on Papadopoulos. Abini in her 7th grand final. Madison Haley miscues off the right boot, but Sydney have it again. It opens up for Vine, accelerates straight through, she's gone down. Cern gets the free kick, but Vine is holding her ankle as well.
This doesn't look good for Courtney Vine. She sized up the challenge with 2 Western United defenders to beat. Tried to split the difference, and it was this tackle here, the contact, you can see that left ankle has just gone over and in an ankle roll. The kind of one that's a little hard to look in a slow motion replay. But Courtney Vine went down immediately after that challenge, and that one does hurt.
It is very strong contact. Alana Cern, in her first A-League season, one of 9 former Calder United players in this squad, and Courtney Vine's picked up a yellow card for that challenge, just lunging in. She may have come off second best. She can see the funny side of it.
Good to see she is laughing after that challenge, and nothing worse for Ware keeping her down for longer or keeping her out of this game. For Western United, they had a little emergency huddle after that second goal went in. Quick discussion about how to stem the bleeding. Yet to register a shot on target. We've seen the majority of this match be played in Sydney FC's attacking half.
They're at nearly 60% possession, Sydney FC. And 3 corners that are all like direct free kicks at the moment. Keane earns the throw high up on that right-hand side. Confirmation of that yellow card for Courtney Vine. Keane again. They need her to stand up now, and she's strong in the challenge. Robers as well. But it's Sydney that look to break away again. Madison Haley fouled by Sydney Cummings. There's going to be a yellow card for the American centre-back.
Sydney FC were looking to play on a quick counter-attack. Sydney Cummings just blocking the line of the run from Madison Haley. To my mind, there's not an awful lot rather in that challenge. Just good physicality. And Cummings picks up a yellow card for her efforts.
Free kick to come. Sydney Cummings, one of the 3 Western United players to have played in every single match this season. The other 2 are her compatriots, Anna Keane and Hilary Beale. Tobin launches the free kick long into the area. Haley's header. Abini able to turn. And now Vine, one-on-one with Blanich. Vine comes inside. Trying to sneak it home at the near post. Western United are on very thin ice at the moment. They have to be very, very careful, because another goal, and this one will almost be over. Fenton. We talk about those challenges from Western United that they were winning 2 weeks ago. At the moment, Sydney look like they can just walk through. Fenton on that occasion.
It was a great driving run from Kirsty Fenton. Carly Johnson was working hard to try and keep step. But you can see Sydney FC, they've showed up for a physical contest today. They know that last game it was Western United. They perhaps outmuscled them just a little.
Tobin again, delivers. Again, it's towards Madison Haley, and why not? She's been instrumental in both goals so far. Charlie Rule with a push. And Danielle Steer. Going to be Alana Cern to try and launch Western United back into attack. Rule gets there. Can only find Blanich. Intercepts that pass. Savicki now. And now Taranto. A little touch for Savicki. Papadopoulos. Good again from Fenton, who gets there first. Finds Madison Haley. And she's been caught that time by Papadopoulos, who tells her to get up as she runs past. Keane brings it down with Robers. Now Johnson. Carly Johnson accelerates, looking for Keane. Robers takes over. The cross in. Jada Wyman spilt it. Reacts quicker than Steer. A little heart-in-mouth moment. 2-0's a dangerous lead, as we all know in football. Here's Vine. Low with Hunter at the base of midfield. Now Charlie Rule's cross in is a good one. towards Rachel Lowe. Papadopoulos closed down. Nothing coming simply at the moment for Western United. They turn it straight back over. They're being pressured into mistakes here. They're having to fight for every ball. It's been a very impressive opening 27 minutes from Sydney FC.
Yeah, it's well and truly been an onslaught from Sydney FC. Dominant opening passage of this game. And Western United, they're just struggling to clear that first line of defence, and large parts. Hannah Keane, isolated up top, is the only target to hit. There's not much in the way of support.
They love to hit on the counter-attack. Western United. They absorb pressure like they did 2 weeks ago. It was about now that they got the only goal of the game on a quick counter from Hannah Keane. And then they hung on for dear life. But they haven't been given that opportunity so far. McLean again getting in front. Reads the game so well. And now Vine against Plainage. Vine takes her on, gets to the byline. Corner. Another corner. And we know how dangerous these have been.
And a little wry smile as well from Courtney Vine. Plainage was asking the question whether or not the ball had already ran over the byline. Good positive driving run once more from Courtney Vine.
Well, the first one was played short. It didn't work. They got another corner out of it. And they scored from it. They then scored from the next one as well. Hawkesby drives it in again. There's been a head clash there. I think it's Charlie Rule who's gone down along with Sydney Cummings. Both players went straight to ground. Medical staff coming on. Let's head back down to Neve, who's been keeping an eye on Sydney Cummings.
She's such a big physical presence for this Western United side, Robbie. She's been a mainstay as part of this team throughout the Liberty A-League this season, and she's using her body to great effect already today. A massive hit on Courtney Vine early in this game, and then another body check with Madison Haley a little bit later on. She is absolutely putting her body on the line for Western United. It was that aggression that helped them get the better of Sydney FC in the first round of the finals, and she is leading the charge on that front today.
She has been key at the back there, Sydney Cummings, and that spine for Western United as well. Hilary Beale, the American, Sydney Cummings, and of course Hannah Keane up top. So important to how Western United are going to look to get back on track in this afternoon's match. There was a thumping header, came in. The second one too, Nat Tobin. An important goal, a special one for the captain.
Sydney Cummings is finally getting back to her feet. Now, Courtney Vine has also used this opportunity to have a look at that left ankle, because it took an absolute hammering in that collision with Alana Cern as well when she was booked for the foul, and I think she wants to get that ankle taped up. Well, she's been in the wars recently. Here it is. Look at that left ankle turn. Ooh, that is a nasty one. It's, to be fair, fantastic to see her back up. She gets that ankle strapped.
She did look a little proppy just to see as she jogged off to get this one taped up. Just a bit of reinforcement so that she can stay on the field, and great as well to see Sydney Cummings back to her feet. Her aerial presence for Western United is really unmatched, and it was that challenge just moments ago up against Charlie Rule that needed to be made.
Well, her speed is such an important part of her game. Courtney Vine, she's forced away into the Matildas' reckoning. You'd have to say she's just about first choice in that front three, front four, wide attacking role. 3 goals to her name, including the most recent one against Spain, which was a wonderful, wonderful curling effort into the top corner. Played against England and Scotland as well. Picked up a little calf knock. And she'll, at Sydney FC, will be hoping that that ankle can keep it together for the next couple of hours. Here's McLean. Rule and Cummings have both rejoined. And so does Vine, so we're back to our full quota of 22 on the pitch. Keane gets there. Was there a hand to control? The crowd thought so. Taranto, look at the hunting impacts. 4 Sydney players around Taranto. Great ball in from Rule towards Haley. Tobin. She's winning that battle so far with Hannah Keane as well. She's just had that one effort from the left side of the box, which fizzed over the crossbar. Taranto also had an effort that flirted with the top corner. And apart from the 2 set pieces, Hilary Beale hasn't had a whole lot to do either, apart from pick the ball out of the back of a net.
It's a good point. There hasn't been too much created in open play at either end of the park at the moment, and Sydney FC, while dominant, have relied upon those 2 corners.
Madison Haley again. She was looking for Hawkesby. Will make those runs all day from midfield. Those runs into the box. Fenton with Hunter. Sarah Hunter fan club must be somewhere in the stands today as well. They're always there, and especially for the big matches. McLean, long. Cushion pass from Haley. He's just beaten Courtney Vine out of play. We'll have to see it really open up over 20-30 yards to see how she's travelling, Courtney Vine. Well, they've managed to steady the ship, Western United. Tokazo will be... Oh, there's a high boot there from Rule, and the yellow card's out immediately. He's caught the Canadian, Danielle Steer. And the yellow card coming out means that medical staff can come on and treat the injured player.
Just a little reckless there from Charlie Rule. No doubt she was going for the ball. But with Danielle Steer running through like that, she's just collected her on the face. Fortunately, doesn't seem to be too much damage done.
It was sock more than boot, which is a lot gentler. Even though it probably still stung a little bit. Ball in from Blanich. Headed on nicely by Steer. Keane is there. Somehow cleared, but it's still alive. Cummings back in, deflected right in front of Wyman. And somehow she kept it out.
Well, those moments can breathe life into a team. And Sydney FC struggled to scrap a clearance away. Western United struggled to scrap a clearance into the back of the net.
Well, it's a crucial save from Jada Wyman. She hasn't had as much work to do as other goalkeepers this season. Sydney have conceded the fewest shots of any side in the competition, mind you. That's 3 already today. She has done what she's had to do well. She was called up to the last Matildas squad as well that played Scotland and England. Haley's just been trodden on there, I think, by Alana Cern. Referee didn't see anything untoward in the challenge. There's Western look to go forward. Clever little controlled headed pass from Hannah Keane. Now Steer. Keane's in the middle. Early ball comes near post. It's a great run. And it just didn't have the power to beat Wyman, but it was on target again from Hannah Keane. She really doesn't need much of an opportunity, does she?
It's the smallest of windows for Hannah Keane. All while Madison Haley remained down at the other end of the pitch and seems to be in some distress. This challenge here, just to come in together of feet. And Alana Cern has come down heavily on that foot, that plant foot, but what a pass from Danielle Steer to pick out Hannah Keane. And that is tantalisingly close. Jada Wyman yet again. An important touch just to push that wide. Not dissimilar to the goal Hannah Keane scored in the last game against Sydney FC. Just a little glancing touch around the corner was all it took.
Well, only Casey Dumont has a better save percentage than Jada Wyman in the league this season. Thumbs up for Madison Haley, who just really took a knock. She has a word to Casey Rybelt saying, well, she stepped on me. Hilary Beale, she's third in that list of save percentages and has had a lot more work to do as well. Goalkeeper of the month in January and February. Hasn't been her shot stopping. That's been a problem so far today. And those two set pieces. We say so often, defending set pieces is about concentration, commitment, discipline. Rovers. Johnson's cross in for Keane again, controls in the area. Turns one way, then the other, shot deflected. Off McLean, and Wyman is there again to prevent the ball going out for a corner.
Just a couple of promising moments for Western United in as many minutes. Asking a couple of questions of Sydney FC's defence, and Sydney haven't conceded many across the course of the regular season, but when they have, it's been in this 15 minutes before half-time, so these are testy moments for the Sky Blues.
Now indeed the two best defences in the land going head-to-head. Johnson, oh, she's got the better of Fenton. The cut back towards Keane is there for Taranto. Oh, Wyman thrusting up the arm. Brilliant stop, and now the break might be on here. Hawksby's touch for Haley. Princess Zabini on the left, Courtney Vine on the right. Sydney slow it down. Now accelerate again. Hawksby's touch gets away. And now Steer finds Keane. Blanich down the left. Fireworks in the 5 minutes before half-time. Searching ball forward. Steer gets there. Keane again. Stays on her feet. Taranto can't fashion a shooting opportunity. Rovers now inviting Papadopoulos forward. Rovers does well against Dabini. Well, one end to the other, and here we come again. Fine, now she could get a head of steam up here against Blanich. How's that ankle feeling? Well, she didn't back herself that time. Savicki was there in cover. Steer had got back too. Now Hunter. Low. Wrestled to the ground in a collision with Cern. Play on.
The energy has certainly picked up in these last few minutes. This chance. A great smothering save from Jada Wyman. Made herself big, came out. Important involvement. But you certainly sense the energy, the momentum has just slightly been swinging in Western United's favour in the last 5 or so minutes, looking to create something just before half-time.
Papadopoulos now. Savicki. Can Western United provide a twist and a turn in this one before half-time? They've now had 5 shots to 3 and 2 on target that have brought 2 great saves from Jada Wyman. Oh, Vine, she's pulled up very sore there. She did try and stretch out. She gets a pat on the back from Cern on a way pass, but Courtney Vine's grand final is looking in doubt here. Well, she perhaps, with her side leading by 2-0, she should look a little bit bigger picture, because the Women's World Cup is just 11 weeks away now. And she is a very important player for the Matildas. She wants to win this, of course. She's lost the last 2. Grand finals. Here's Fenton. Down that left-hand side. Kirsty Fenton winding up. Finds Haley, goes again. Into the area. It's a great run again from Hawkesby. Shooting opportunity blocked by Cummings. Cleared by Steer. Towards Keane, and Tobin has to be alert. Oh, we said it in the pre-game show. This is no place for the faint-hearted out there. There are some real collisions, real physical battles. Now Vine, she's moving a little more freely again. Perhaps something just twinged. The tackle by Hunter. Urbini. Rachel Lowe wants it into feet. Hunter comes again. Little dink ball into Rachel Lowe. Madison Haley. Crosses, back post. Hunter hits down. And Blanich controls it into the arms of Beale.
Well, this is edge of your seat stuff at the moment from one end to another. You can hardly look away. It was a brilliant driving run from Kirsty Fenton down one side. Not long before Western United looked to turn things around and send it back up the other end. Trying to create something just before this first half comes to a close. What a huge 45 minutes it has been. Sydney FC started so powerfully, but to their credit, Western United, they are clawing themselves back into this game.
That's out of play. Let's go quickly down to Neve Owens, who's keeping a very close watch on Courtney Vine there. Neve.
Court's walking quite a lot, Robbie, and she is such a firecracker of a player. We so rarely see it. I think she's managing that ankle into half-time. Rachel Lowe is pushing further forward. Last time Sydney and Western played, Rachel was further up front.
As here goes Madison Haley on the charge again. Hawkesby taking over. Hawkesby hits it. It's on target, but it lacks the venom to worry Hilary Beale. Football fans around the country keeping one eye on Courtney Vine at the moment. Johnson, she keeps it in play. Fenton coming charging back. It's strong from Johnson. Tobin across in cover. Papadopoulos, the cross. Keane's header. And again, she manages to get it on target, but not the power to worry Jada Wyman. And we've had some stoppages. 7 minutes of stoppage time for those injury stoppages. And it's true, it has been physical.
It has, and exactly as we anticipated that it would be a physical, aggressive, hard-hitting match. Western United, 12 strong tackles to Sydney's 6. But it's the 7 minutes that I'm sure Ante Juric is going to want to see quickly. On the other hand, Western United are enjoying a little bit more of the ball at the moment and some more opportunities. I just don't want this half to end.
The battle of the coaches as well. Ante Juric, his 6th consecutive grand final. He's only won one of them though. 2019. And a certain Chloe Lagazo scored a wonderful goal. There he is. He's a superstitious man. We heard in the pre-game. Corner Socceroo as well, a fantastically technical player. And here's Robers now. He signed on for another 2 years as well, Ante Juric, with the Sydney FC women's team. Strong from Abini. Rachel Lowe, lovely little turn. Getting the better of Savicki. Abini again, inviting Carly Johnson into the challenge. She looks for Courtney Vine. Now Rule. Great little pass outside of the boot for Lowe, who can turn. Now Vine again. Haley back with Lowe. Courtney Vine. Charlie Rule back outside. Sarah Hunter now. The header down. Well, I think she was looking for a teammate, Madison Haley. She apologises to Rachel Lowe.
See how comfortable Sydney FC look, controlling the ball just outside the 18-yard box. They've got such technical players. Rachel Lowe, Sarah Hunter, just combining up top. Madison Haley. Passes in the opposition half to speak to the tail.
And what a pass for Hawkesby. Alana Cern had to be alert. Again, that run from midfield. So dangerous. The early ball forward from Tobin into the feet of Madison Haley. Well, she is the fire in that midfield for Sydney FC. Mackenzie Hawkesby, best friends with Nat Tobin. The two are inseparable. Abini against Papadopoulos. Hawkesby again, off the shoulder of Robers. Abini, Low coming short. Hunter now just 19 years of age. In that position that needs so much maturity, so much awareness and vision. As Beal is hit by Haley, the coming together of the three Americans.
There's a solid grab from Hilary Beale, and it had to be a well-floated ball into the box from Charlotte McLean. And Beale's done exceptionally well to challenge and hold on to this ball. Just receiving heavy contact mid-air from Madison Haley.
On loan from Racing Louisville in the US of A, Hilary Beale, the Western United goalkeeper. She knew she wasn't going to get much game time, and it was a Matilda, Alex Chidiac, also at Racing Louisville, who said, why don't you head down under? There's a new team starting out. We don't know how they'll go, but it could be all right. Oh, what a season it has been for Hilary Beale. Over the top. Tobin reading that situation so well.
Speaking of Americans, how special for Jess McDonald to fly back down for the occasion, having departed the club back in January. But to be here today for Western United, she was such an important part of the establishment of this new club. And I understand the girls were particularly excited seeing the surprise of McDonald returning to the team.
She scored their first ever goal in the A-League, that 1-0 victory over Melbourne victory that really set the tone as they started with 7 wins in a row against all odds. Now Papadopoulos towards the back post. And a chance to put her name up in lights there.
There's a floating ball across to the far post, a little awkward one for Jada Wyman. Carly Johnson, she's been exceptional this first half, driving at players. Jada Wyman had a few concerns. She had some work to do to cover that far post, but fortunately for her, there were no green and black shirts to meet that ball.
Papadopoulos, one of the 4 players who were at Calder United last season, along with coach Mark Tocazo. One of the 4 on the pitch, I should say. There were 11 that made the step up from Calder United. There's Keane loses out to Tobin. That battle continues. We're in the 7th minute of stoppage time at the end of the first half. The first half that started perfectly for Sydney FC. A pair of early goals from corners, Hawkesby the provider, Madison Haley and Nat Tobin, the captain, delivering the goals. Robers turning one way then the other, gets the cross in. Tobin's header. Taranto playing the player, not the ball. He's another of the Calder United alumni after having a spell in the A-League with her sister at Melbourne Victory back in 2015. But it's half-time, there's no time for the free kick. A half that went according to plan for Sydney FC. A special night for Nat Tobin, and her 100th A-League appearance has been punctuated with the second goal after Madison Haley got her 10th of the season. A possible injury cloud over Courtney Vine, the only black mark on an otherwise immaculate copy. The 15th Liberty A-League Grand Final for the moment is turning in Sydney FC's favour. Half-time at CommBank. Sydney FC 2, Western United 0.
Well, Sydney FC, they are halfway there. Do not go anywhere. We are off to a short break and back with the Hungry Jacks halftime show on the other side. Welcome back to Combank Stadium. It is the 2023 A-League Women's Grand Final. Look at these challenges there. Bodies absolutely flying. Courtney Vine in the mix as well. But this is exactly what it means. It's so physical. It is so brutal out there because the championship is on the line. Hello, welcome back. I'm Tara Rush, and it's great to have your company. And that of Andy Harper and Teresa Polias alongside me. Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. We're going to dig straight in to the Harvey Norman highlights. Teresa Polias looking at the highlights from the first half. One thing that is clear is that Western United cannot defend corners.
Unfortunately so, which is quite a surprise because they haven't conceded many off corners during the competition, so they'll be extremely disappointed with, conceding 2 today off corners.
Mackenzie Hawkesby was on corner kick duty. Andy Harper, it's 2-0. And these 2 goals, they're almost a carbon copy of each other.
And, the scouting report, Western United have done a great job to get here, but the scouting report has got more holes than Swiss cheese. If you're not expecting Madison Haley to be a danger from a corner not once but twice, then you haven't done your homework. She has got a prodigious leap. She's an incredible athlete. You can pick that she's got a prodigious leap, vertical leap, because of the speed with which she runs generally. So you get sucker punched once, Teresa. The second time is a killer. She doesn't score the second one, but she causes all the trouble.
Exactly, and it doesn't matter what you do in open play. If you're not going to get your heads right for set pieces, this is what happens.
And what about that? It is, who else but Nat Tobin, who on the secondary follow-up with her head in her 100th match, chasing that championship as well. T, it must mean so much to her.
Oh, absolutely. The stars have definitely aligned so far for Nat, and I'm thrilled for her. But again, if you look at the defending, the second ball, once again, Western United watched that ball headed out, and that was there, and Sydney were onto it.
They're not out of it, Hub.
No, but pleasingly, we've certainly got a game in our hands. You wouldn't have said that after 25, 30 minutes, Sydney 2-0 up, and just completely monstering Western United all over the field. Sydney didn't drop off. Western found a bit of that monster themselves, and they finished really strongly, which means we've got a hell of a second half coming up.
Jada Wyman has been fantastic in goal, hasn't she, T?
She has been immense, and I think Western United have created some chances in open play, probably more than Sydney have. Jada's really stepped up to the plate today.
We have a huge second half heading your way, of course, and this is what is heading your way in the final series when it comes to the A-League Men's Comp. We've wrapped up the regular season. First up, Friday night, it is the Reds v the Wellington Phoenix. That one live on Network 10 and Paramount Plus from 7 p.m. And then what about this? The Wanderers v Sydney FC. They meet in a final for the very first time, a huge city derby back here at Combank Stadium on Saturday evening. Catch it on Network 10 and Paramount Plus as well. We are off to a short break. That was the Hungry Jacks halftime show. More though coming on the other side. What can Western United do? It is their first time of trying. Can they fight back and find a way into this one? Don't go anywhere. Well, we have a huge second half coming up shortly between Western United and Sydney FC, who are in the lead 2-0. Courtney Vine. Well, this is one up to our commentary team this evening, Robbie Thompson and Grace Gill. We know she's an ever-present danger down that right-hand side, but how is Courtney Vine's ankle, team?
Well, that's the big question. She's back out on the pitch behind us, so she's back out for the start of the second half, so that's good news for Sydney FC. But Grace, Courtney Vine, whether it was her or how Western United were going to deal with her, it was the big talking point of this grand final, wasn't it?
Well, we saw her just launch into life in the first half, and she was exciting, she was electric, she was creating options down that right-hand side, and going down, seeing that ankle roll, we thought, well, maybe she'll come off at half-time. There are a couple of options off the bench, but obviously she's strapped it up, she's good to go, which for Sydney FC, she'll want to be out there. She is such a competitor.
Absolutely, and for the moment, Sydney FC are in the box seat as well. They lead by 2-0. Kickoff is just a minute away. Well, our two sides are back out on the field of play. Sydney FC in formation with Courtney Vine. And no changes to either side at the break. Western United break from their huddle. They need goals. Two of them unanswered, preferably for them, to send this into extra time. It's been a tough trip for Ante Juric as well. One grand final win in the previous 5 in a row. 4 defeats. The same for so many of his players who have the opportunity for revenge today. Well, big saves were made by Jada Wyman in that first half to keep Western United at bay. It's Sydney FC with a 2-goal cushion that get the second half underway. These two sides have met 3 times previously. The winning team, twice Western United, once Sydney FC, have kept a clean sheet on each occasion. Grace Gill, we know this one is set up nicely now. We know that Western United have come from behind already 4 times in the regular season. Can they do it again here, though, on the biggest stage? And just hold that thought, because here goes Carly Johnson bursting into the area, and she's just overhit it.
Well, what that says to me, Robbie, is that Western United are a resilient side. They do have the ability and the personnel to come back. Carly Johnson, she's been relentless across the first 45 minutes, and this is a big half, arguably the biggest half of Western United's young career in the Liberty A-League.
Just match number 20, if you can believe it. ...18 regular season matches that saw them finish second, just a point behind Sydney FC. There were ups and downs along the way for both these two sides. A couple of matches that went to the tribunal as well. Western United picked up 3 points off Brisbane. Sydney lost 3 to Canberra. But it all came out in the end. Sydney FC premiers for the 3rd year in a row, an all-time competition record. There's not much doubt that home and away they've been the best side. There's the little pass. Very lovely technique from Mabini looking for Hawkesby. But the question over this side has been, can they do it in the finals? Can they do it in the grand final, where they've come up short the last 3 years in a row, Grace?
We'll call it a hoodoo, call it a curse, call it finals football, whatever you like. Sydney FC have struggled historically, looking to make amends tonight, and the first 45 minutes that really put them in good stead. Just moments ago, a really delightful run, bit of play from Princess Abini down the base of some really pretty passes to watch. But it's a huge 45 minutes here.
And here goes Hawkesby again. The pass underhit, comfortably cut out by Sydney Cummings. Nine previous grand finals for just 3 wins and 6 defeats across the 15-year history of the A-League. As here's Haley with Lowe. One way then the other. Now Abini. Can't find space for the shot. Gets it out wide. Rule. Comes inside steer. Hunter's cross. Alana Cern clears. Carly Johnson. It's a real battle in there as well, with Fenton at left back. Very highly rated left back. Many tip as a future Matilda. Probably the Women's World Cup on home soil coming up in just under 3 months' time now. Will come too soon. Never know. Tony Gustafsson's staff are here keeping an eye on this one. Matilda's coaches as Haley finds Hawkesby on the edge of the area. Low again with Hunter for Hawkesby, always so busy in and around the edge of the box. With Lowe for Rule. Oh, the nod down for Hawkesby! Well, it was there to be struck. It was there to give Sydney an almost unassailable lead, and she couldn't do it.
Well, Mackenzie Hawkesby can only sit and reflect on how close and what could have been. That opened up so kindly for her. Frustration only at herself. Just leant back a little too far on that. Couldn't get her head, her chest over the ball, but what a prime opportunity for Sydney to make that 3.
McLean back with Wyman. Her saves in the first half have kept Western United scoreless. Hunter for Rule. Down the line for Vine. We just saw a glimpse of that pace then, didn't we? Oh, as she's hit Hilary Beale, and that's going to be a free kick, and Courtney Vine's gone down again. And she picked up a yellow card for flying into Alana Cern in the box earlier.
Well, the pass from Cern was left just a little bit shallow for Hilary Beale to deal with, and it looked like both players were trying to get out of the way of each other. This pass made heavy work for Beale, and they've absolutely clattered into each other there.
The referee doesn't see anything untoward. Anything more than that then. Free kick for Western United, who look to get moving forward again. Savicki. He's teamed up with Alan Stajcic in the Philippines, a former Sydney FC coach. 7 seasons in charge of the Sky Blues.
Payne just caught by an oncoming Hannah Keane. McLean again, who has been excellent this season. Here is Andrew Redmayne, Sydney FC shot stopper for the men's team.
He will be in action on Saturday night in the Sydney Derby final as well. Here at CommBank, massive match that one, but not a grand final as Vine gets another chance, pokes it through, Madison Haley, it might yet fall. Rachel Lowe straight down the middle. It's another chance for Sydney at the start of this second half.
Rachel Lowe would have loved to add to her tally for the season. She gets herself in such excellent positions. A really tidy footballer. Tonight has been no different. She combines really well with Haley, with Abini, Hawkesby too.
And how about that pass from Hawkesby for Vine? Denied again by Hilary Beale. Courtney Vine again. Back outside, cuts inside. Vine curling it. And again, straight at Hilary Beale. Must have magnets in those gloves.
Courtney Vine, she just can't find a solution. She gets herself into excellent positions. We have to talk about the ball from Hawkesby. What a delightful ball that was over the top. And on the second time of asking, Courtney Vine finds it on her left foot. But yet again, Hilary Beale is positioned well. Makes light work of that.
As here goes Vine again. Oh, she's got too much pace. And that was committed goalkeeping from Hilary Beale, who got there, and Courtney Vine is down again. But she just keeps getting up. That's the problem for Western United.
Well, Beale committed on that occasion, came well out of her 6-yard box. Madison Haley just returns from an offside position.
And we have a change coming as we see that excellent piece of goalkeeping from Hilary Beale. And it's Danielle Steer who's making way for Mel Taranto. So the twins are reunited in the 55th minute in the centre of the park. Will there be a little reshuffle? Savicki's still there. It looks like Robers has moved up into one of those attacking 3 positions alongside Johnson and Keane. Here is Robers.
Well, Taranto, no doubt, will be looking to make an instant impact to this game. And as she ran on, she just signalled two defensive midfielders and pushing, as you mentioned there, Emma Robers up a little higher, finding some more attacking outlet.
Is there a push in the back there from Charlie Rule? There was. And this is a very promising free kick. Hannah Keane checking where it is. Referee Casey Rebelt puts the spray down. And they've scored 4 free kick goals this season, more than any other side in the competition. And it's Mel Taranto who's standing over this one. It's Adriana Taranto along with TJ Blanich. And there's a left foot and a right foot over this one to keep Jada Wyman guessing. 5 in the wall. It's Taranto, it's around the wall and it's straight down the middle. Easy for Wyman. And another chance slips away for Western United to get back in the game. Hawkesby still full of running like it's the first minute. Now Abini. Wide left against Papadopoulos. Abini looking for an option. Appeals from the crowd for handball. Nothing given. Strong from Blanich. McLean long back towards Madison Haley. Fantastic control. Now Vine! Saved again by Hilary Beale.
Sydney FC, they continue to push forward. Madison Haley, how about this bit of skill? Cushions that on her chest. Drops it back nicely for Courtney Vine. He went for a composed side foot, attempted a finish, but Hilary Beale yet again is there, positioned well.
Adriana Taranto is down, holding an ankle. She was surrounded by blue shirts again, everyone kicking out at the ball. We're approaching the hour mark. No change to the half-time score. Ante Juric bellowing instructions at Rachel Lowe. There's the kink.
There's a couple of little nibbles there at the ankle of Adriana Taranto, who has worked tirelessly this evening for Western United. Sydney FC, though, speaking of tireless, Kenzie Hawkesby seems to be hitting her 6th gear.
Vine with Hawkesby again, picked off by Taranto. Straight into the feet of Keane, leaves it at the last minute cleverly for Johnson. She cuts back inside McLean. Taranto, the cross. And neither Rovers nor Keane can get on the end of it.
And again, another solid run from Carly Johnson. She just looks so threatening this afternoon. Everything but that final product at the end of these driving runs.
And as the urgency climbs, as the pressure climbs, as Sydney FC get closer to that 4th championship victory, as Western United more and more urgently look for a way back into the game. Keane's done well. Taranto with Robers. Back for Keane, it's overhit. But they can keep the pressure on. It'll be a throw for Sydney down near the corner flag. Benton trying to take it about 30 yards further up the field.
That ball from Robers asking a little bit too much of Hannah Keane. Western United will look to lock Sydney FC down in their defensive corner.
Savicki got away from Hawkesby, but she was chasing her down. Cummings looks for the big switch of play, finds Carly Johnson. One-on-one again with Rule. Goes past her, but again, Charlotte McLean is there in cover. They've done that well today as well, Sydney FC. Tobin and Fenton on the left, McLean and Rule on the right, working as a team.
They've got great balance in their defensive line. Charlotte McLean reads the ball so incredibly well.
No header, helped on by Lowe. Only to the edge of the area. Mel Taranto didn't know too much about it. Alana Cern clears. Savicki gets it back. And Western United build again. It's coming fast and furious now at every opportunity. And Tobin has to be careful. She was sent off earlier this season between these two sides for a couple of rash tackles. Mel Taranto again, confronted by McLean. No quarter asked nor given.
Adriana Taranto just looking to slow things down at the centre of the park there. Sarah Hunter, who she too has worked hard in the middle of the park for Sydney FC.
And now Abini straightens up, driving between two. Haley has to stretch. Penalty. Handball, says Casey Rybelt. She wasn't pointing to the spot, she was pointing towards the goal. And it is a penalty. Well, Sydney FC will now have the opportunity to extend their lead to 3. Let's see what happened here.
We'll get another look at this. There was a linking of the arms of the two players. No handball from what I can see. Here, The arm across Princess Abini from Papadopoulos. As Abini's driving forward, but I think both players are party to that.
Well, it must be Papadopoulos, I think you're right, who's been singled out by Casey Reibelt. There is no VAR at the grand final. So Princess Abini, who equals Ivy Lewick and the record of 7 grand final appearances. To make this 3-0. And she does so. And she runs to celebrate with the Sydney FC fans. And her teammates do too. Surely now, with less than half an hour left to play, Sydney FC are shaking that grand final hoodoo off their back.
As we have a look on the Harvey Norman replay, the hold on Abini resulting in the penalty, and a really professionally hit penalty by Princess Abini, who runs to celebrate with the Cove. That feels perhaps for Western United now like a hill too steep to climb.
Well, it's the 4th time they've conceded 3 goals this season. Each time it ended 3-0, 3-1 against Perth, 3-0 Sydney, 3-0 Canberra, and now 3-0 Sydney again. Cern fouled by Haley, who again was involved. Her presence, even if it was Princess Abini, the youngest ever player to make 100 appearances in the Liberty A-League at just 22 years of age. The 7th grand final. It's a remarkable record, and still so much yet to come in her career. Carly Johnson, she still has a point to prove. Western United still have a point to prove. And it's a record crowd at CommBank, 9,519. That's more than 3,000 more than the previous best set pre-COVID in 2019. It confirms that women's football in Australia is following the trend around the world, and it's only going to continue to grow, especially with the FIFA Women's World Cup coming to town, and that opening match in front of 80,000 between Australia and the Republic of Ireland on the 20th of July. The A-League, the Liberty A-League, which is the pinnacle of the game domestically in Australia. And for the moment, it's dressed in sky blue. There's still time for Western United, but they need a goal. Taranto with Papadopoulos. She'd love to be involved in the comeback after giving away that penalty. Came back from a bad knee injury in January. Papadopoulos, one that's in her first ever season at 26 years of age of the Liberty A-League.
Effort wasn't far off for Western United, and one thing is for sure, it's that they'll keep pushing all the way through to 90+ minutes.
Johnson is really starting to come into her own in this second half as well, down that left flank, dispossessed by Rule. Madison Haley releasing Courtney Vine. Courtney Vine, the cutback towards Princess Ibini. Sydney with numbers forward here as well. Hawkesby with Rule. Hunter. All but Hannah Keane back for Western United. It's been a tough day at the office for Mark Torcazo's side. A little 1-2. Low into the area. Madison Haley again. Forcing Mel Taranto back. The cross in. Cern gets there ahead of Hawkesby. Hannah Keane turning Tobin, accelerates. Tobin sliding in, and it's McLean who gets all ball and gets Sydney moving forward again.
What a powerful run that was from Hannah Keane, taking on 1, 2, 3 Sydney FC defenders. It's not many times she's beaten at Tobin this evening. On that occasion, it was just Charlotte McLean to slow her down. But she thought she'd take matters into her own hands. Still plenty of football to be played in this match. It does feel as though Sydney FC are comfortable.
Flags up for offside against Madison Haley, coming back from an offside position.
Do have to reflect again on that record-breaking crowd, Robbie. 9,519 fans at an A-League Women's Grand Final. What a momentous occasion in our game here in Australia, and after 15 years to have come as far as it has. The game wouldn't be what it is without the fans that are here today.
Keane towards Johnson. Well, a grand final is always a big event, and with all eyes riveted on the match itself and the near future as well, and all the promise of a Western United, it's important to take a look back at the history of the women's game in Australia. As here's Hawkesby taking on Cern. Blanich concedes another corner.
Well, Sydney FC are having a lot of joy at the moment, finding Courtney Vine with that outlet pass. Some excellent deliveries through the line from Madison Haley, from Sarah Hunter. We spoke about Sydney FC's midfield, and certainly feels as though they're coming alive late into this second half.
Hawkesby again. In it comes. And it's the party piece. One more time. Madison Haley getting on the end of it again.
Well, after the first two that Sydney FC scored in that exact fashion, you'd think that Western United would have Madison Haley closely accounted for, but look at that leap. Look at her time in the aerial presence from Madison Haley. She's by no means the tallest player on the pitch, but she is a danger on corners.
Sarah Hunter, one of 4 Sydney FC players to have played every single match this season. Princess Ibini, Rachel Lowe and Courtney Vine. As Cern just steers it back towards Beale. I beg your pardon, it's Charlie Rule who's played every game, not Rachel Lowe, who missed the start of the season with injury as Vine. And looking again, it's just wave after wave at the moment from Sydney FC.
Western United are having to absorb a lot of pressure. That ball from Courtney Vine didn't quite get the shape around it she would have liked. A sigh of relief for Western United to try and turn things around back up the other end.
Another strong challenge by McLean. Might yet make it all the way through to Vine. She can be so dangerous from that broken play as well. Rule Roll up against Robers. Doesn't look like it's third time lucky for Emma Robers, who had to watch from the sidelines in Victory's first win last season. She had COVID, wasn't even allowed to travel for the grand final. And now at Western United, she's on the pitch at least. This Western United side, well, no matter what happens now in the last 18 minutes, it's been a momentous season for them. Vine still. There's going to be another corner. Valiant, she's been there, done that. She knows what it takes.
I spoke about the pressure on Sydney FC to stand up and perform this afternoon. And perform they have, well and truly. Still 15 plus minutes to play. But this has been a dominant outing by the Sky Blues.
Hawkesby again. Who's the target? In it comes. Charlie Rule with the header at the near post. Can't keep it down.
It's almost a little too easy there, Charlie Rule. Great height, but she's just taken a couple of steps away from her defender and couldn't quite redirect that one goalward. But these corners and set pieces causing a few headaches for Western.
There's 3 set-piece goals at the moment that have been too much, far too much for Western United. 15 shots to 10 in favour of Sydney FC. That's as close as the attacking stats get. There it is. And 11-5 on target. Touches in the box and nearly twice as many. Balls into the final third, twice as many again for Sydney FC. Strong header, Fenton. Rachel Lowe releasing Hawkesby. Those lung-busting runs still coming. Lowe again, bypasses Zabini for Vine. Going for the outside of the right boot from the corner of the box.
Well, it would have been a pretty special strike there from Courtney Vine, but yet again Rachel Lowe linking passes really nicely. Combining well. Doesn't look so much like she'd like to get a shot away herself, but selfless in her play and her passing.
So strong from Fenton.
She's had a great afternoon. Kirsty Fenton at the back. Physical challenges up against Carly Johnson. That battle has been a lot of fun to watch, but Fenton, she too has been tireless. This is not a good sign. However, for Carly Johnson, looks to be in a fair bit of distress as she's gone down after this challenge.
Well, she has run herself ragged, particularly in this second half. And if that's not cramp, that could be a calf injury and a lot more serious, but it looks like the juices are going in. Maybe it is just a bit of cramp. Kirsty Fenton, who arrived from the Newcastle Jets at the start of the season. Just 19 years of age. Defensively is what she's really brought to the table. Doesn't have a goal yet in Sky Blue. There's Carly Johnson. Is still down. This hasn't gone the way she wants to keep playing, I think. Mark Tokazo saying, do we get you off? She just wants another second. Can't wait too long. She still has a point to prove, Carly Johnson.
She too has had a great night. Looked dangerous every time she's got the ball at her feet. She's got great power and pace. Carly Johnson.
The change being prepared for Sydney FC as well. Is it going to come now? Referee says let's just have the free kick next outing, next stoppage, and we'll make that change. It's going to be Shay Holman who's coming into the game, as Haley with Lowe, Abini, cross back post, Fine making the late run, Planich only as far as Hawkesby. Hunter picked off by Taranto, but she gets it back. Sydney build again, that compressor with numbers forward, possession of the ball, the cross in. And goal kick, Western United will have a chance to relieve a bit of the danger here. Substitution. It's going to be Rachel Lowe. Her job is done. The player who admitted this week that she's been suffering from post-viral fatigue, has never really felt 100% all season. A remarkable story. She's filled in as centre forward when there was nobody else to do it, not her natural position. She scored a couple of goals as well, and now she's replaced by another youngster, because that too is Sydney FC. Bringing the youngsters forward, Shay Holman coming as here goes Vine. Courtney Vine, always rising.
Courtney Vine doesn't quite have her radar in tonight, finding herself in really good positions, having a lot of fun up and down that right-hand side, all except the final product. But how many times has Madison Haley been at the base of a delightful pass to find space, and perhaps Beale got a little snicko on that save.
Look at the jewels, Hannah Keane, who's taken the ball and run. Well, Courtney Vine has done similar, Carly Johnson as well. It's been fantastic to see so many positive players out on the pitch as well, prepared to take people on.
A word on Rachel Lowe too. That's her operating sub-optimum, then that's a pretty impressive season from Rachel Lowe. And a great performance tonight too. Really excellent by the midfielder.
Holman. Hawkesby for Haley. Shay Holman, just 17 years of age. A big night for her and the Holman family, of course. Two brothers also play in the Isuzu Youth A-League. They haven't won a grand final yet.
It's a very talented footballing family, and Shay Holman certainly has shone bright this year for the Sky Blues, playing a lot of minutes earlier in the season. Went away with the Young Matildas team and then has struggled to re-establish herself back in this starting side. Perhaps it's that Ante Juric wanting to find those points of consistency in the midfield. Those superstitions as well.
Carly Johnson can't keep going. So the substitution. Tiana Jaber into the game. Wearing the number 25. She'll play in that high position up on the right-hand side. It's just her third appearance of the season.
No doubt the instruction to Tiana Jaber will be to run, to give it everything you've got, to make yourself a nuisance. She's had some experience across the Liberty A-League in years gone by, and she'll be looking to make the most of the opportunity tonight. She's a former player at Newcastle.
Signed as an injury replacement midway through the campaign for Amy Medwin. No Angie Beard, of course, we mentioned at the top of the programme. That's been a big absence as well. Planich has done well at left back. Planich would have been more effective higher up the pitch as well. Mark Torcaso had to make do with injuries and absentees as well, as every other coach and team always does over the course of a season. Adriana Taranto has been in the wars today as well. keep going. Those Western United supporters, they've enjoyed a remarkable season. And they should try and savour these final minutes if it's not going to happen for them. Mind you, we have seen some incredible finales in Liberty A-League matches this season. Who's to say that a miracle won't happen? Fenton. Jaber closes it down, puts the brakes on that attack. Papadopoulos sliding in. Wants Keane to show again she has worked so hard across the front of the attack.
Because as well, Hannah Keane works so often as that solo target striker. She covers such a breadth of ground. Trying to receive the ball to feet, she comes really deep to try and pick it up as well. She's had another hard-working night, much like the rest of her season, Hannah Keane.
Well, for the moment, it's been Nat Tobin's night. Probably thought when she made her debut in 2013 in a grand final and a 3-1 victory that professional football was pretty easy. Well, it's been 4 grand final defeats since then. And now, a decade on, at 26, the only player in the Sydney FC squad who combines full-time professional football with a full-time job as well as an occupational therapist. This will be a moment that she savours. All the sacrifices will all be worth it. Rule, a little 1-2 with Holman. Rule. Hawkesby again is there, never far from the action. McLean long. Now Papadopoulos. Those two have never been far from each other today either, including for the penalty award. Papadopoulos and Abini.
Well, there have been some wonderful matchups all across the field. Papadopoulos and Abini. Another pairing to add to that conversation. It's been an evening of individual battles. Sydney FC for Nat Tobin. A performance that's been a long time in the making. The most consistent team over many, many years now. Just without this final piece of silverware to show for it. And as these minutes tick by, Ante Juric, well, he won't relax just yet.
Fabulous pass from Madison Haley for Mackenzie Hawkesby. Well, a grand final goal will cap off not just tonight or this season, but a career that is just all about hard work for the team. She's had a couple of chances in this second half.
She continues to get herself in excellent positions and she works hard for it. Mackenzie Hawkesby just shaking her head at no one other than herself. And yet again, it was Madison Haley who threaded a delightful pass through to her.
And her impact on this Sydney FC side has been immense as well. Madison Haley. She scored the opening goal to take her tally to 10. Anna Keane's crowning moment came in that semi-final in the end, with that goal that qualified Western United in their first ever season. Mel Taranto spirits the ball away, but Holman wins it back. Urbini for Haley again, struck purely straight at Beale.
It's a clean strike from Madison Haley. She got that one away really nicely.
And now
back lift.
Here goes Vine again, because it's never ending. 4 to aim for in the middle. Haley's there. Hawkesby as well. It's Cummings that clears. Now Robers. Looking for Blainage. McLean heads to the crowd. The XG tells a story as well, reflected on the scoreboard. Western United can't really have too many complaints. 2.47 to 0.61. And we're going to have another little bit of history here. Roller. Badawia is coming into the contest to replace Courtney Vine. Another American into the fray. And Indiana Dos Santos, at just 15 years and 201 days, she could have got in for free with the Liberty package. Now becomes the youngest ever player to feature in a grand final, having become the youngest ever Sydney FC goal scorer earlier this season and the 5th youngest in Liberty A-League history. Badawia straight into the action. Badawia still crosses. Haley almost got on the end of that one again. And as they head down behind the goal, they know that they can touch it now.
Well, the celebrations have started down with the Cove, with Courtney Vine and Mackenzie Hawkesby. 2 integral players in this Sydney FC side, not just this season, but in previous years as well. And what a moment too for substitute Roller Badawia and Indiana Dos Santos to make their mark in this grand final. As the clock ticks away, Ante Juric pacing.
Well, there was so much talk that Ante Juric could be leaving the club at the end of last season as well. He signed on for 1 more. He's signed on for 2 more now. And that will make it 8 seasons. A Sydney FC record. You talk about stability in a club. Well, that's one of the reasons for success. They've changed players. But the results have been there. That consistency off the pitch and on it.
Oh, it's incredible. The talent in this Sydney FC side, the youth, the players who have been there for some time, average age of 21. They may be strong, but they're still a very young side, which gives such great hope to the future of the A-League and Sydney FC.
And now Madison Haley for the finishing touch, and she's got it. And now the celebrations can really begin. Stoppage time. Madison Haley with the icing on the cake. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. It goes for that goal for the American number 9. It goes for this football club, Sydney FC. Because tonight, they have silenced the critics. Tonight, they are champions of Australia.
And the Harvey Norman replay, Madison Haley again. She's been unrelenting all evening. The pressure was on Sydney FC to come into this match and make something of it, and they've faced that pressure head on. And Madison Haley, she has been key to everything Sydney FC tonight. What a season from Madison Haley. What a final performance. And what a star signing she has been in our league here in Australia.
Time for another change. Charlie Rule played nearly every single minute of the season at right back. Is coming across to be replaced by Deborah-Anne De La Harpe, who we may yet see this winter in the World Cup for the Republic of Ireland. She gets in on the act for these last 2 or 3 minutes. May the procession begin, because this is all about enjoying the moment now. These players that have suffered so much. It's just the start of the journey for Mark Torcaso and Western United. Few could deny Sydney FC their crowning glory. Savicki, closed down by Badawia. Goal kick. De La Harpe with the header. Cummings into the feet of Taranto. McLean, she's cleared everything today. She's got in front of her player every time to steal the ball away. Tobin has been a leader. Hunter has got the job done at the base of midfield. Every Sydney FC player has done their bit. Every squad player, those that missed out today, that have all played their part in this triumphant season.
You've got to say it has been a complete performance from Sydney FC. Dominant from the get-go. Western United did well to build themselves back into the game, but it's been all sky blue. 3 set pieces, a goal from open play, some delightful football. And what a showcase it has been from Sydney FC.
Alana Cern with Taranto. Keane, is there some final joy for Western United? Keane again into the feet of Jaber. No way through. Sydney FC in merciless mood. Madison Haley with Fenton. The 5 minutes of stoppage time are up. Whistle to the mouth. It's all over. After 3 years of heartbreak, Sydney FC are back atop the tree in the Liberty A-League. They've done the double. Premier's Plate and Grand Final for just the 2nd time in the club's history. Records are plenty for this side, and few would deny them. First half goals from Madison Haley and captain Nat Tobin, symbolically in her 100th match in the A-League. A penalty from Princess Abini in her 7th and record Grand Final for appearances, before Madison Haley supplied the icing on the cake. A fantastic night in front of a record crowd at CommBank. Sydney FC have run out clear winners in the 15th Liberty A-League Grand Final. Champions for 2023, Sydney FC 4, Western United 0.
Well, what a moment and what a dominant performance for Sydney FC here this evening. They are the champions of 2023. Well, let's get right into the mix now and get some reaction with Nevo.
Taz, thank you so much. Nat Tobin, captain of Sydney FC, championship winner in your 100th game. How does that sound?
Oh my God, it's overwhelming. It's outstanding. It's amazing. So incredible. Like, these girls, such a special group, and I can't believe we did it. We finally did it.
6th grand final in a row, but in terms of the championship, you have done the hard yards to get here. Does that make it even more special?
Yes, I think so. Like, those last 3 grand final losses, especially last year where I think we were the better team, yeah, they were so heartbreaking. I think that's a term I've used over the last week. Absolutely heartbreaking, but today it's just elation.
You knew when you lost that opening game in the finals that this would be your 100th today. Has that been spoken about much within the team this week? Something to celebrate as a whole unit?
Yeah, I think so. A lot of the girls put together a really nice video saying congratulations, and you know, I think it was that extra bit of motivation today, not only for myself but my teammates, because we all, you know, love each other so much and want to do it for each other. So, yeah.
Congratulations, Nat.
Thanks, Steve.
Bring it in, and you're still walking.
Yeah, luckily.
Halves.
Tara, how you going? There's just a little bit of mayhem down here, Tara, as you could probably understand. Charlie Rawls been very, very kind in joining us post-game so soon. Congratulations, Charlie. Only a youngster still, but you've experienced a lot with this football club already.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a long 3 years coming, I think. It's so good, feels so good to win that one, and yeah, this group's so special and they deserve it, yeah.
You're coming into this game, you lost maybe the final you needed to lose against Western. Did you need that shake-up? Because the opening half hour was awesome from Sydney.
Maybe it was for the good. We learned a lot when we played them in those 2 first games we played them. So, yeah, we came out firing. We knew what we needed to do, and, yeah, we got the job done, which is great.
And if there's a girl in the team who's playing for a hometown club, it must be you, Queen's Park Junior, just across the way from Allianz Stadium. Does that take any more significance for you?
Yeah, it feels so special to play for Sydney, my hometown. So, yeah, I just can't believe it. Honestly, speechless. The girls here have been so good and so, like, welcoming to all the young ones especially. And, yeah, this group is so special. I don't know what to say. It feels so good.
Well, congratulations. You deserve it. It was a special performance from you today. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Star of the future right there. Nevo, who have you got with you?
Taz, I've got Courtney Vine with me. Court, I've got to ask you the obvious question first. The ankle, how is it?
The ankle's all right. It's okay. Like, I mean, it's kind of sport. I feel like you always get a bit of a rolled ankle here and there. And as a winger, I feel like you're going to get your ankles chopped a little bit. So it's feeling all right. I strapped it at half time. Got me through.
I reckon the winning vibes help with the pain right now. You guys have been through some pain over the last couple of seasons. How different does that make this feeling?
Oh, this feeling is fantastic. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, we've been waiting for this for 3 years now. So it's come, and I just can't wait to celebrate with all these girls.
What about the performance today, Court? Because when you played Western the first week of the finals, you created so many opportunities. Today, not only did those shots find the back of the net, there were so many more shots on target.
Yeah, I think an important thing we did this game was match the physical battle. I feel like last game we versed them, we kind of struggled in that department. That kind of, I think, intimidated us a little bit, made us probably a little bit less composed at goal. But this game we really stood up, and I couldn't be more proud of the girls to put those goals away.
Win today, you're going to celebrate this big, I reckon, then World Cup next. Not a bad year.
Not a bad year at all. Good start to the year, I think. We got a Cup of Nations with the Matildas and now a double with Sydney FC. Hopefully that's good like voodoo for World Cup, I think.
A sign of things to come. Court, well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Courtney Vine, someone that always plays with the biggest smile on her face. Cannot wait to see her in the green and gold for the Matildas. Harps, over to you.
Thanks very much, Tara. I've got one of the heroes of Sydney Football Club over the last 3 or 4 years, not just today. Charlie McLean, congratulations. It's a massive win for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm a little bit emotional. As you said, it's been 3 years been working for it, and I'm so glad that we could get the job done today. We really deserved it.
And in your performance in particular, because people watching Liberty A-League Women's Competition will realise you had a pretty serious facial injury. How the hell then do you come up to a championship game against the best striker in the comp and probably the biggest player in the league in Hannah Keane? It's incredible from you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think it's probably my biggest weakness because my height. So every time I go up against a big player, I just think like today's my day to show that just because I'm small doesn't mean that it's a weakness. And yeah, look, I am in perfect range for elbows. I did pop one in like the first 20 minutes last time we burst them, and it was okay. So I think that gave me confidence. I was like, you know what, look, the worst has happened. She's hit me, and I was fine. So, yeah.
Well, maybe vertically challenged, if I can reinterpret what you're saying, but great across the ground. And it looked to me like a lot of your teammates were actually taking your tip in how to get in front of players and win that ball, because that first half hour, they really didn't get a sniff.
Oh, yeah. I think, look, they're all immense. Like, they're all so good at reading the game. They all always, Ante encourages us to defend on the front foot. It's like if you know, your job isn't just done when someone gets the ball and you make them go backwards. Your job is done when you can win the ball before they get it and turn a defensive moment into an attacking moment. And that, you know, encompasses our team and, yeah, the way we play.
Well, it starts with you at the back with Captain Courageous Nat Tobin. Fantastic. Congratulations. Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you get the feeling there. You get inside the inner sanctum of just how close this side truly is. Neve, more reaction from you now.
Thanks, Taj. Rachel Lowe, that midfield battle when you guys met a couple of weeks ago was what decided the game. Do you feel like you won that today?
Yeah, I think we talked after the game that, you know, we didn't kind of win the ball enough in the midfield last time. So, you know, they're always strong and they're going to try and bully us out of the game. So we just had to kind of get control early. And then I think, yeah, I mean, Maddie scoring early made it pretty able for us to kind of ease into the game a bit more. But, yeah, no, it was great.
Yourself and Sarah Hunter, though, that partnership, that pairing, you were able to really boss the midfield.
Yeah, Sarah's a great player. Same with Macca. I think we work really well together. Been a bit of a long time coming playing together, but I think today it really paid off. And obviously with Maddie up top, you know, we've always got an outlet. So, it was great.
You've had health battles of your own this season. How much does that add to the special feeling right now?
Yeah, it's unreal. I think when I walked out here today and see the crowd, yeah, it was a bit of a surreal feeling. I didn't think I was probably going to play as much this season. So, yeah, starting a final is something I'm really proud of. Yeah.
A record-breaking crowd today, a record-equaling championship wins for Sydney FC. How special is this a unit to be a part of?
Oh, it's unreal. You know, I've been here for 3 years now, 3 grand finals, 2 premierships, and now 3 premierships and a championship. So, yeah, I think, yeah, we've got a pretty legendary team, and Ante's done a great job of kind of making us get better and better over the years. So, yeah, it's great.
Sounds all right, doesn't it? Those numbers. Congratulations. We'll let you celebrate with the girls.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Sydney FC are your 2023 champions. Do not go anywhere. The trophy presentation is coming up next.
Well, the celebrations continue down on pitch side for those Sydney FC players, for the staff, for everyone that was involved in this 5th premiership triumph, a 4th championship triumph in the club's history. Great skill. Let's have a look at how it all happened, because it all started in just the 4th minute.
It started with quite a fury, it did, from Sydney FC. How many times across the season have we seen Mackenzie Hawkesby whip in a delightful ball, and Madison Haley, if that was a sign of things to come, then Western United should have heeded that warning. It was a delightful finish, rising above the rest. And a corner, nearly an exact carbon copy, this time Nat Tobin there to bobble that one in on her 100th appearance for the club. We've spoken about fairy tale finishes and endings across the week, but for Nat Tobin, that was certainly one of them.
Well, the 2 set pieces from the corners, and we talked about the Western United fairy tale that they were playing for. Well, Nat Tobin is the fairy tale princess, the star of the show. Penalty award just after the hour mark. Papadopoulos deemed to have just dragged back. You can see the arm of Princess Abini locked in there. It's a good spot from referee Casey Rybelt in her 93rd A-League match as referee, and Princess Abini in her 7th grand final. She's won some and lost more as well. She goes and celebrates with the Sydney FC supporters.
You can see what that one meant to Princess Abini, and she was architect of so much of the play going forward tonight for Sydney FC, as was Madison Haley. And she was rewarded with another goal for the evening. Such a key signing for the Sky Blues this year, and she was relentless tonight.
And that goal, I mean, there's always a bit of luck involved in a grand final triumph. The ball bouncing off Alana Cern. It just didn't happen for the Western United defenders. Hilary Beale, the goalkeeper as well, with some fantastic saves. Jada Wyman made some great saves at the other end as well. to keep her side in front in that first half when Western United were really pushing for a way back into the game. But this side, as you said, Grace, premiers for 3 years in a row. That itself is another first. Over the home and away season, this biggest one in the competition's history, which is only going to keep growing next year with the arrival of the Central Coast Mariners. Then hopefully more clubs coming as expansion continues, and that trophy will continue to get harder and harder to win. We've seen that the depth in the player pool is there as well, with Western United in their first season. A fantastic victory. The Sydney FC men, who have snuck into the finals via the back door. They used to carry the same reputation as the women's team, starting every season as favourites. They've had to battle, and their season continues as well, as a fantastic night for Sydney FC comes to a close at CommBank Stadium. 2023 champions.
It's our time for Sydney FC to lift that championship trophy. For the trophy presentation, it's over to Neve Owens.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming along to what has been a record-breaking night here at CommBank Stadium and a wonderful grand final between Western United and Sydney FC. To begin with, please join me in welcoming to the stage our official party, the Honourable John Graham, New South Wales Minister for Tourism, the Honourable Stephen Camper, New South Wales Minister for Sport, Sally Situ MP, the Federal Member for Reid, representing the Federal Minister for Sport, Annika Wells, the Chief Marketing Officer of Liberty Financial, Heidi Armstrong, Western United legend Jessica McDonald, and Sydney FC legend Teresa Polias. The APL would like to take this opportunity to thank the naming rights partner of the A-League Women, Liberty Financial, our official broadcast partner, Paramount ANZ, and our A-League's partners, Destination New South Wales, Isuzu Ute, McDonald's, Neds, IHG, PSC Insurance Brokers, Donate Life, Priceline, Nike and Sen for their valued support. To start proceedings, I'd now like to invite today's match officials to come to the stage to collect their medals from Sally Situ MP, the Federal Member for Reid, representing the Federal Minister for Sport, Annika Wells. Today's match officials were referee Casey Rybelt, assistant referee 1 Mi Suk Pa, assistant referee 2 Maddie Allen, fourth official Isabella Blalius, and fifth official Emma Potsbeck. I would now like to invite Sydney FC legend Teresa Polias to present the medal to the player of the grand final. This year's winner of the player of the grand final with a brace in the grand final today, Madison Haley. Maddie, congratulations, well done. There can only be one champion. Our commiserations go to Western United FC for their valiant efforts today and what has been an incredible debut season in the Liberty A-League. I would now like to invite Western United to come forward to collect their runners-up medals from the Chief Marketing Officer of Liberty Financial, Heidi Armstrong. Captain, Jacqueline Savicki. Alyssa DeLost, Stacey Papadopoulos, Hannah Keane, Carly Johnson, Emma Robers, Danielle Steer, Natasha Dakic, Adriana Taranto, Melissa Taranto, TJ Vlanich, Sydney Cummings, Hilary Beale, Alana Cern, Julia Sardo, Tiana Jaber, and their head coach, Mark Torcaso. Ladies and gentlemen, please once again congratulate our runners-up today in their first season in the Liberty A-League, Western United. We will now present the Liberty A-League 2023 champions, Sydney FC, with their championship medals. Please welcome the players from Sydney FC to the stage. Jada Wyman. Charlotte McLean. Kirsty Fenton. Sarah Hunter. Rachel Lowe. Madison Haley. Courtney Vine. Mackenzie Hawkesby. Deborah Ann Delahaye. Charlize Rule. Princess Sabini. Shay Holman. Indiana Dos Santos. Rola Badawia. Katie Offer and head coach Ante Juric. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for Sydney FC skipper in her 100th game for Sydney FC tonight, Natalie Tobin. And as Natalie Tobin collects her championship medal, Nat, we would love to hear from you as Sydney FC skipper.
Thanks, Neve. First of all, congratulations and thank you for such a good game, Western United. You guys have been unbelievable all season, especially in your first season. You put up such a fight today. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and yeah, just want to say thank you and well done, and we'll see you next season. Next, I'd like to thank our sponsors, The Star, Canard Tire, Karma, McDonald's, Carbiz, Bill Berger, Smeg, Glad Group, Under Armour, University of New South Wales and Labour Connect. Thank you for supporting the team and obviously making this club possible. I'd also like to say a big thank you to all the members and fans who came out today. It was an incredible atmosphere. Thank you to the Cove. You guys are unbelievable. I know we all... We all appreciate your support so much, and yeah, obviously our families in the crowds as well. We wouldn't be here unless it was for you guys, so thank you so much for your support. Ante, we did it! The last three have been heartbreak, but today was unbelievable, and thank you so much, Ante. I know this team appreciates you so much. Also to all the support staff as well. I'm going to miss people if I name them, but thank you. We love you guys and you make it such an enjoyable experience. And lastly, to the team, I love you guys. unbelievable game today, and I think it just showed our true spirit and our true character. So well done, girls. We deserve it, and let's celebrate.
Let's start those celebrations right now, shall we? Natalie Tobin is going to take the Liberty A-League Championship trophy over to Sydney FC. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2022-23 Liberty A-League champions.
Well, there you have your 2022-23 champions, a record equaling 4th championship, a record-breaking 5th premiership for the women in Sky Blue. Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks post-game show, and a very warm welcome back to Andy Harper. It was a dominant display by Sydney FC here this afternoon. Andy Harper 4-0 against Western United in front of the biggest ever grand final crowd of 9,519. And as Natalie Tobin said, they did it.
And they deserved it. It was a great story for Western United to get here. So firstly, kudos to them in their inaugural season, and that they came back from a dead position in this grand final, Tara. But it's to the winners go everything today. They've won the premiership, the premiers played, and now they win the championship. And it's been an elusive trophy, this one in the last, and a heartbreakingly elusive trophy in the last few campaigns. Nail-biting grand finals, the previous one. This one had tension in the second half because Western United found something to throw back at Sydney FC, but in the end, Sydney just too strong right across the field and finished off the job.
You're exactly right, Andy Harper. What this side could finally achieve, it was the ultimate breakthrough in the end, wasn't it? Ante Juric there is re-signed for an additional 2 years. He's been head of this club since 2017, and in that time, there's been so much heartbreak in the lead up to tonight's championship. They've come oh so close, but tonight was their night. Nat Tobin spoke about it in the lead-up. She just felt like now was their time. And with such a talented squad, such a young squad too, Hubs.
Great talent, played great football, clearly had a technical advantage going into the game, just purely across the roster. But sometimes that doesn't count in big games. And Sydney FC in grand final day, the women have experienced that already. So you get into today's game, and I don't know, when I was watching that opening half hour with you, I enjoyed your company watching it, Tara. It was almost like all the chat about how they got beaten by Western United in that preliminary final a couple of weeks ago for Western to get here first team in. All the chat about Sydney getting muscled out of that contest almost looked like they'd been eating that for the last 2 weeks and just could not wait to get off the chain and get stuck straight, sink their fangs straight back into Western United, because I don't think Western United knew what hit them in the opening half hour. It wasn't that Sydney were smashing the goal with chances, but they just couldn't get out of their half. They couldn't win a challenge. The complete flip side of what happened a couple of weeks ago, and that was the foundation laid. Western were brave in their comeback, even though they didn't score. They were very brave in their comeback, and a bounce of the ball here or there might have got them on the scoreboard, and then all hell could have broken loose. But Sydney got through that, and clearly the 4-goal margin, which is a harsh one on Western United, but it does speak to the quality across that Sydney team.
Teresa Polias, you were one of those players that brought so much quality for over a decade at your time at Sydney FC. We heard from Nat Tobin, the fearless leader and the captain. We saw Mackenzie Hawkesby. She's an absolute maniac. She is just absolutely soaking up this moment. But off the back of what Andy Harper said as well, it's almost like Sydney FC off the back of getting defeated from Western United. They puffed up their chest and they're actually quite intimidating.
Yeah, they were. And it was like almost a dress rehearsal for Sydney FC in that first qualifying final. So you know, they wanted that chance again. They got it tonight, and it was all Sydney, particularly that second half. I mean, Hannah Keane was just so isolated up front, and Western United expended so much energy in the first half trying to keep the ball and create chances that they were just spent in that second half. So credit to Sydney. They knew what they needed to do today, and they actually executed it.
You mentioned her there, Hannah Keane. There was one moment where she was running upfield but had 3 Sydney FC defenders and none of her own players to help her out. Neve Owens is with Hannah now.
Hannah, it has been a remarkable debut season for Western United, even in this moment, which no doubt hurts. Is there that feeling that there's a huge amount to be proud of?
Yeah, there is. I know it's really hard in the moment right now because we came so far and, you know, just couldn't finish it off. But yeah, looking back, we did amazing, and I think I might need to be reminded of that a little bit because I'm pretty sad right now. But you know, everyone worked so hard. You can't win everything, but I think it also gives us so much motivation for next season.
You brought so much grit, so much determination to the entire season. Are there a huge number of lessons that your side, still so new together in the Liberty A-League, will take into next year?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the fact that we did do as well as we did this season and having not much experience, it just shows that, you know, anyone can come in, and if you fight hard enough, you can go far. And if we can do this the first season, then I'm so excited to see us go all the way through next season. And it'll be a really good one.
Your family aren't here today, but they are no doubt watching at home. Have you got a message for them?
Thanks, Mom and Dad. You guys are the best for supporting me for the last, 25 years playing soccer. So I love you guys.
Well done on an amazing season.
Thank you.
Beautifully said. She's an absolute star of this league, Hannah Keane. Look at this guy right here. Look at what's around his neck. Ante Juric,
Smile like
Are you holding all of the emotions in, Ante? You just rode that high, then you got it done 4-0. You must be so proud of your side.
Yeah, I'm super proud of how we played. One, the result. Two, and just seeing their smiles and laughter and joy is something really special as a coach.
It's been an incredible run. Not a run. It sounds like you've been lucky. It's been an incredible stint as a coach to build this program. And there was a couple of years ago, Ante, where you closed the border on the club. We're going all local girls. You built a core of local girls and then started to sprinkle some foreigners in, Madison Haley probably being the high priestess of that movement. Massive congratulations to you, mate. It's a real vindication of your football culture and quality.
Yeah, thanks so much. I am proud of what we've done. Especially we've introduced a lot of young players. When Teresa was there, she helped out obviously with that process. When initially we came, we did have to move on some older players. And yeah, that's the end result at the moment. And these girls hopefully stay together for a little while and the dynasty's not over.
And I wanted to ask you, Ante, I know it might be a bit early, but you're probably starting to think about the future, and a player like Madison Haley, others, do you see yourself keeping the core group again? Yeah,
we've re-signed most players. We haven't, probably 3 or 4 of the players, and Madison's one of those. I don't know if she'll come back. I think she's what they call it, owned by Chicago over there, so she might go there. But we'll try and keep her, but yeah, we'll have to have a look around. But there's about 4 or 5 spots available, so mostly it's going to be the core.
What about the share price in your little bottles of coconut oil?
Oh yeah,
mate, that's going to go through the roof.
It's a protein ball.
Oh, it's going to go through the roof.
Protein ball. Yeah.
You've had a few of them, but
we were pondering exactly what you meant pre-game when you spoke
protein ball things. Yeah.
when you spoke about your superstitions, and they are obviously your lucky socks now. Hopefully we can get a close-up of them at some stage. But talking about the plan and executing the plan, it was such a dominant performance, and I know Harps was talking about it wrapping up the entirety of the game, that it's almost like, I know the physicality and how physical Western United were in your first meeting, or your last meeting, your most recent meeting, that your players took that and used it for fuel and said it's not going to happen this time around.
Yeah, there was, and again, I hope this doesn't sound egotistical, there was no chance they were going to win. When I saw the girls in the before the kick-off in the change room, I could see in their eyes, I saw in the warm-up, so I knew we'd come out strong. And yeah, we played a little bit more aggressive than we did last time, and that hurt us last time, and we've obviously changed a few things and did well.
One last word on Rachel Lowe. I read with fascination in the last couple of days about the personal health issues
Yeah,
she's had to
had
overcome. She's an unbelievable talent. And I'd say probably the best technician in your team. You must be stoked with where she's ended up this season, given that background.
Yeah, she's had a few issues last 2 years, and then she came back from the Matildas and really struggled. At a time there, she actually said, the doctor said she shouldn't play. So in my head, I thought she'd be out for 4 months. She came back, did pre-season, slowly got through things. Wasn't probably at her peak with strength, and she'd be tired after a session, couldn't train the next day. So she's come so well in the last month or two, and she was outstanding today, I thought.
Well, Ante, another congratulations yet again from all of us. You've done the double this season. It's incredible what this side has done. Go and enjoy it.
Yeah, I will. The girls are buzzing over there. So thank you. Thanks so much.
2023 champions and premiers as well. Well, let's get some more reaction now. Neve Owens is with Maddie Haley.
Madison Haley, our Isuzu Ute player of the match. Congratulations. What a grand final it was. A brace. Is that what you had envisaged?
I was hoping for a hat trick, but a brace I'll settle with.
Your sister made it here in time. She's here in the crowd wearing bright pink so you can spot her. Yeah. How special was that?
Totally awesome. My mom was here for when we won the premiership, so to have my sister here for the grand final is just awesome, and I got to FaceTime my mom after the game as well, so super special for them to be able to come out and witness such a special moment with so many fans.
Talk me through this moment, celebrating a victory like this with the Cove.
Amazing. I was so happy that Brittany jumped over and came into the Cove, because I was thinking about that when I had a celebration, but I scored on the other end, so I wasn't able to do it, but this is amazing. I mean, you can hear the fans, they're having such a fun time, and they really spurred us on today.
We've seen throughout the final series your side create so many scoring opportunities. Tonight, you banged them home. Was there talk about that during the week, just taking that next step?
Honestly, I don't think we really talked too much about it. I think we always had that self-belief and that confidence. It was just a matter of really kind of settling ourselves down. So we never really lost that belief. We knew we were a team that's going to create chances, and the scariest things when you're a team that doesn't create them. So we knew we'd have the opportunity. It was just a matter of settling down. And yeah, I mean, what a special day. 4 goals. That's what we were looking for, to win and win comfortably.
How are the celebrations going to go?
They're awesome right now, and hopefully we can have some more later on tonight.
Enjoy, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
It has been just an absolute delight watching Madison Haley light up the league, out for a couple of weeks with that hip injury. So intelligent. What an acquisition to bring in to this side. She graduated Stanford University with a Master's in Stability, Sustainability and Science Practice. I mean, she is so sharp. Such an acquisition. Scoring goals for fun when it came to the final season. She ended up being the key player, one of the key players to get Sydney FC to the championship.
Exactly right, and just her presence on the field gives you confidence. You could see that in the girls. They were so happy to have her back. She brought everyone into the game, and she was almost their antidote to goal-scoring woes, really.
Let's take a look at the Harvey Norman highlights now. We're talking about Maddie Haley and everything that she's added and everything she's done, Andy Harper, and it was her effort and her head that led to the opening goal for Sydney FC.
Well, I think this is a failure of planning from Western United, but ultimately, and Teresa will back me up, you can't coach against a gene pool. And her father is a 5-time Super Bowl winner. Yes. This is freakish. This is God-given athletic talent. She's a really smart woman as well, and you can see the way she plays. I thought she was phenomenal today, but it's hard to coach against this. They tried to block her out the second time, Teresa, and credit to them, but still not good enough. Look at that leap. They're far from the tallest player on the field, and a ball of muscle as well.
Yeah, and you can't argue that, and she was so smart about it. It's almost like she saw her marker turn their head, and she crept and peeled out behind them, and you just can't stop her if she gets away with from you in those areas.
Talking about athletic power, Princess Abini has got it in spades as well. Look, I'm not sure if this is a penalty to me. And this is at 2-0. Western United are a breakaway maybe from getting something back in the game. I'm not convinced that was a penalty, Teresa. I know you were a little bit dubious as well.
No, I don't think it was a penalty, to be fair. And, you know, the third goal was always going to be hard for Western United to bounce back from. But, yeah, look, to me, it just looked like a 50-50 challenge there, and the ref's seen it one way. So.
And here comes this charge again. And Kirsty Fenton has made, from the Newcastle Jets, youngster out of Toronto, Awaba, a seamless transition into the starting fullback for now the Premiers and the Champions. Now, she's played junior national team, has Kirsty Fenton, but she's never played like this. And in a team that can have from time to time the pick of the crop. She's worked her way into this dressing room and completely solidified that left-hand side defensively. And the link play with Abini was magnificent. There's Kirsty there, first on the job to celebrate the 4th goal. And Madison Haley has been an incredible find, although I shouldn't expect we should see her back anytime soon once the party's done.
I know that, right? Because Madison Haley's just well and truly put herself on the radar when it comes to where she's going to go next. I know we asked Ante Juric about it, but I think it's onwards, maybe NWSL, maybe overseas after that, as well, and just taking a look at the match stats as we recap that Sydney FC have been crowned champions for 2023. Yeah, you could see how dominant it was. It was absolutely dominant in front of a dominant crowd. The Sydney FC, they got it done in exactly the way that Ante Juric would have wanted, Teresa.
Oh, definitely. And you can see the passing accuracy was up as well. The shots on target were up, and, you know, against a team that gets into the box so much, there's only so much time you can hold them out for. And we saw it tonight. They flipped 4 past them. They weren't going to make the same mistakes they did in the previous final.
Exactly right, and they didn't, and they are the 2023 champions. We are off to a short break. More reaction here on the other side, live from CommBank Stadium. So Sydney FC do the double. They lift the championship and the premiership. Don't go anywhere. What a night for the women in Sky Blue as they lift a record equalling 4th championship off the back of being newly crowned premiers, mind you. They did it. They broke the hoodoo, the voodoo, the curse, whatever you want to call it, but on 4th time of asking, they finally did it. Ante Juric, she's rowing and looking up to the heavens and going, finally. And what a night it was here. 4-0 against Western United. An incredibly dominant performance, and someone that absolutely dominated the midfield, Teresa Polias, was 22-year-old Rachel Lowe, who was just absolutely phenomenal tonight. Has been when we've seen her across the season and is doing such great things in her 3rd season at the club.
And when you hear her whole story, I mean, it puts things in perspective. But the last couple of weeks, she's taken her game to new levels. Her distribution, her creativity, the way she retains the ball has been top-notch for Sydney FC. Her vision's great. Her and Courtney Vine have been linking up superbly. Her and Madison Haley, she's been such a key figure in there for Sydney FC. So happy for Rachel Lowe that she's been able to get back to her very best and even better.
Yeah, she's a fantastic player. I thought she was instrumental in the game today. Madison Haley gets the gong for player of the match and the goals and a lot of the headlines, and deservedly so. But I think the player who set the tone for Sydney was Rachel Lowe. She completely ran the show in midfield. It was a great performance. I loved watching it. She's a fantastic player. They've got a fantastic captain. They've had a fantastic captain in Teresa. They've got another one in Nat Tobin, who's now posing for Vogue or something there, I'd suggest. It was just a great day. And like Teresa said, I'm really happy for Rachel because of when you understand and read about the difficulties she's had. And then you think, OK, well, if the body can get right, then she can be a Matilda's contender in that midfield. I've got no question, 22 years of age, if she can build physically from this point on, because the football will take care of itself, as we saw today.
Well, we've seen her called up into the Matilda's fold, and it is such a credit to what Ante is doing. And this Sydney FC club, though, isn't it, with Mackenzie Hawkesby and Sarah Hunter, just 3 absolute specimens, like fine specimens when it comes to what they do in the midfield, and Hawkesby getting called up into the Matildas as well. I mean, the trio, the 3 of them are really incredible, and they couldn't be stopped tonight. They absolutely bossed that midfield battle.
They really did, and it's kind of scary when you think how young the squad is and how much more football they've got in them, and hopefully, you know, Ante can keep them together for a while longer. But, yeah, they've been amazing together. The chemistry that those players have, it's scary. So, and look, they're keeping that legacy going. So if they were to move on, you know, they're now helping out the next crop. Indiana Dos Santos come through as well. So it's like a well-oiled machine.
It absolutely is. Indiana Dos Santos tonight became the youngest ever player to play in a grand final, and Neve Elmans is with her now.
Indy, you've broken records tonight as a 15-year-old playing in a grand final and lifting that trophy. How has this afternoon and this evening been for you?
I actually can't believe it. Like, it's surreal. It's seriously, like, it's just amazing, yeah. It's just, to get the win 4-0 as well, it's just, I don't know, words can't explain.
You've played such an important role in Sydney FC's campaign throughout the season. You've been starting, you've been contributing. How do you feel you've grown as a footballer this year?
It's helped me so much, like, just being surrounded by all these girls, they're so good and they're just all so good to me as well, so I love it, yeah. Are
there players who've really taken you under their wing and helped you through a grand final week?
Of course, Mackenzie Hawkesby, I love her. She's the same position, so yeah, I really look up to her.
What about your family? I can see them up here, just up on the side. What message have they had for you leading into today?
Yeah, they're always there for the support and they're just amazing. Take me everywhere, and without their commitment, I wouldn't be here, so.
Do you get a day off school for all this?
I don't know, I haven't really asked yet, but hopefully.
I reckon push it while you can. Indy, congratulations on a remarkable season and a win today.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
Maybe we can give Indy the day off school. I think she definitely deserves it. But as you said, Teresa, about the well-oiled machine and these younger players coming through, such a special moment for her and her family. It does take a village, you know it yourself.
It really does, and you know it's fantastic to see Indy at such a young age. Winning a championship. You know, some players go through their whole career without having that opportunity. So, in terms of setting her up for the future, how much confidence would that give you as a player?
Obviously comes from a good background too. I think it's Shell Harbour is her junior club, which is the junior club which has spawned Taryn King and Joel King. 2 or 3 other players who are floating around the league at the moment. That community club must be very proud of what they're dishing up to the top tier of football. And to see, that was beautiful bit of television, to see her face light up when she ran onto the field in the A-League Women's Grand Final was priceless. And it sums up, for me, the number one appeal of the A-League women's competition, what it means to women's football, and the girls are getting a chance, and the example that they're setting to the next crop to come through. There's a freshness about it which is unbeatable, I think.
Yeah, the future is bright for Indiana Dos Santos and this club as well. Let's talk a little bit about Courtney Vine. We're going to see her in the green and gold very, very soon. Of course, we have the farewell game against France, the 14th of July, that one in Melbourne. You know, it was interesting though, wasn't it, watching her, Teresa. Some nights it just isn't your night. I mean, and that's not to say it wasn't for lack of trying. I felt like she had 20 shots on target.
She did, but look, she gets a lot of physical attention, and that's a testament to the absolute superstar she is. And that's the way teams rattle her. They've got to hit her physically, because at the end of the day, you can't contain her for a whole game. So, you know, although she didn't get on the score sheet today, she was immense for Sydney and gave the girls a lot of confidence out there and set things up, opened the field up. She was absolutely immense.
Yeah, finishing was a little off. She had a couple of great chances. I'm not wanting to rain on the parade because she's a superstar. I will say that everyone watching that game today wearing their Matildas cap was on the edge of their seat at every tackle. And when that ankle rolled, I'm not sure if the messages were going through to Tony Gustafsson, hold the phone, Courtney might have rolled her ankle. There was a lot of nervousness watching Courtney today from a Matildas viewpoint. But to Teresa's point, I mean, she's as tough as an old boot, and she got through some pretty heavy contact today and was still a star player for the team. Might have had a goal or two herself, though.
She absolutely was, and we'll see Courtney in action July 14th. It is a Matildas farewell game v France, no biggie. This, of course, in the lead-up for all their preparation for the Women's World Cup, which kicks on, of course, July later in the month. All right, we are off to a short break here from CommBank Stadium. On the other side, we wrap it all up as Sydney FC are your 2023 champions.
This year's Alex Tobin Medal is brought to you by Isuzu Ute. It's going bigger and better than ever, with the winner of the prestigious award receiving $10,000. Plus, the Isuzu Ute Alex Tobin medalist will nominate a junior football club of choice to win a brand new top-of-the-range Isuzu D-Max or 7-seat MUX during the grand final in June. To stay in touch with the leaderboard, tune in for weekly updates at your new home of football.
Well, it is hotting up. Who will be named the player of the season? We will find out on Grand Final Day. The finals series, it does kick off on Friday evening at Cooper Stadium. It's the Reds v the Knicks, that one live from 7 p.m. And what about this for Saturday night? It's the Sydney Derby. We are back at CommBank Stadium to see the Western Sydney Wanderers and Sydney FC go head-to-head. That one from 7 p.m. live on 10 Bulb and Paramount Plus. And then this will be on Grand Final Day, so just keep on keeping on and watching all of the football that is heading your way. A huge FA Cup final. It is a Manchester derby from 11 p.m, live and exclusive on Paramount Plus. And then, as I mentioned as well, the Matildas, their farewell game will be July the 14th. Team, thank you so much for your company this evening. What a clash in the end here at CommBank Stadium in front of a record-breaking crowd. And we saw Teresa Polias, your former side, lift the championship.
We did.